I don't think I will make a speech today because this is a conversation where I want all of you to participate, and I'll try and say things which I know, which perhaps you do not know. So I have said much about what my views are. I'll just summarize what my views are generally. Number one, as opposed to a builder-driven scheme, the self-redevelopment scheme is more beneficial because it gives A, more area, B, better planning, C, better quality of construction, D, timely construction, and last but not the least, more amenities and so much corpus that no builder can give. Unlike what people want you to believe, there can be no comparison between self-development and any other kind of development. Only because in any other kind of development, the aim is to make money and make profit, and someone else is making profit. It's like buying tea in a restaurant as opposed to making tea at home. Can the two ever be compared? It cannot, because making tea at home is any time cheaper, better. You can put whatever ingredients. Similarly, there is no comparison. For some reason, people smarter and wiser than me still want to create a comparison. There is none. The reasons what drive them to make this comparison, I shall not go into it. But I know what exact reasons drive people into going into comparison. There is no comparison because on one hand, for instance, in Talmakiwadi, the target for a builder would be to make 100, 200, 300 crores out of this. Whereas in self-redevelopment, there is no builder. So whatever the builder would have siphoned off from the society comes to all of you. So there cannot be any comparison. Now, despite it there not being comparison, so you need something to destroy a good idea. So takka badde banche magalama. So you create all kinds of fictitious arguments against it, and so I have to go and explain. Now, despite all that, we have managed to complete 25 cooperative societies and given them, OCs, and they are staying in their own buildings. About 40 are in various stages happening. 100 have prepared their plans and are submitting it to BMC. And 2,700 societies have resolved for self-redevelopment. In that, at one stage, Talmakiwadi was one of those which had resolved till some confusion happened. But anyway, I wouldn't go into that. So in 2,700, even if you take and give 10-20% of the most intelligent people who like to do better things, I do simple, mundane things like helping people. And I understand things in black and white, but there are people who see shades of grey. They are more intelligent than me, so let us leave that for the time being. I have headed organizations like MADA, SEEPS. I founded the SEEPS. MMRDA was responsible for amongst the people to make the master plan of BKC, Eastern Freeway, Trans-Harbour Link. Coastal Road, of course, I was specially called to make the design for Coastal Road because it was entirely at my instance that the Coastal Road was initiated, because the government wanted to continue the sea link, and I said that sea link is a bad idea, not just financial and otherwise, but I had a whole lot of objections against the sea link then, and so as an alternative I proposed the Coastal Road. What has come as the Coastal Road is not exactly what I proposed and what the High Court approved. After that it underwent so many changes, but that is in the realm of politics, so there is nothing much one can do about it. But one has managed to achieve as an architect. I've been teaching in Mumbai University and universities abroad. My subjects are architectural design, urban planning, and building economics. These are the subjects last 30, 35 years I've been teaching. And, apart from my public assignments, I took a sabbatical because I realized that corruption is not my intent. And in public positions, the kind of emoluments that you get are not adequate. So, I never took any salary in any of my public commitments, including the present one, where I'm entitled to a fat salary, but like my other assignment, chose not to take salary. Fortunately, my father, after serving in the BST for a while, started restaurants and bequeathed them, being the only son to me. And so I get good amount of rent and don't have to go anywhere for my day-to-day needs. Also do some work for World Bank and research work for them, which fetches me sufficient money to take care of it. But there was a time when my children were growing up and they needed good education, which in public positions I couldn't afford. So I needed to take up some job which gave me that kind of financial leverage. And being an architect and an urban planner, what job would be offered to me or what job I would take and who would employ me? Obviously the builders. So I spent about 12 years of my life working with select top builders. Amongst the top 5, maybe the first top 3 builders, 4 years each. Also worked with a fund, the largest fund India ever had, with the sole intent of funding builders. So I was funding all the builders. So name the builders, I have funded them. Of course, in my capacity as a senior executive of the fund. And the fund and all the builders put together have been very kind to me and have, it served the purpose for which I worked with them. Now I devote my time to helping people for self-redevelopment, especially in this new avatar of mine with Mahapreet, which Mahapreet is a fully owned government company. It's made a company because it can borrow from the public, from international agencies. The scope of Mahapreet extends throughout the country. It has been doing infrastructure project, energy projects, so many social welfare projects. It's a huge organization which does a lot of things, and one of the important works that Mahapreet does is help slums, cooperative housing societies, tenanted properties to undergo self-redevelopment. The various services that Mahapreet gives to cooperative housing societies is A, arranging funds, B, there is a one-window system for self-redevelopment, wherein within 6 months earlier and under the new GR, 3 months, all papers submitted by the society will be taken by a senior IAS officer to various tables, and all approvals obtained by him and given to the cooperative housing society. That Mahapreet undertakes to do all that. Of course, they may charge certain fees for that. The fees go to government, they don't go to any individual. All the people working in Mahapreet are government servant. The government gives them salaries. Except me, I don't take salary, but I head the most important wing of Mahapreet. And like I have not taken salary when I was in MADA, not taken salary when I was in MMRDA, I have not opted not to take any salary or emoluments from Mahapreet either. Coming back to the services offered by Mahapreet, then if you are wanting to take the help for Mahapreet to get good PMCs, Mahapreet will float tenders, call for people, interview them, and give you a list of people from which you can choose and appoint. Mahapreet has a panel of architects, A-class architects, out of which Mahapreet will interview for your specific requirement and recommend you 3, 4, 5 from whom you can select. Mahapreet will also do the entire tendering process and keep a watch on your PMC and architect lest they do not do their job, what is expected out of them, because you don't know what kind of job they should be doing and you are not equipped with handling that, but there are senior people who will handle that, do the hand-holding for you. A tender document is 400 odd pages, so you have to rely either on some architect, some PMC, some lawyer, or a combination of all that to put in the terms and conditions. And these terms and conditions are important because one term wrongly made would result in crores of rupees of loss to you. So Mahapreet would help you in doing that tender process. And going further, after the tendering, it will help you source materials at discounted price, which big suppliers give only to government agencies. So whichever material, like the best of cement, the best of steel from is generally available to government for its own good projects. So if you need Mahapreet to source those things, they can source that for you. They can supervise your project either internally through their staff or suggest to you list of 5-10 people whom they will interview, and you can choose one of them. Or even if you appoint someone, they will see that they help him supervise the entire project for quality control. They will bring in all the equipments required for quality control. For instance, now earlier sonography and X-rays were Dr. Uday's domain, but now you do sonography for a column or a beam in a building. You do X-rays for that as well, and you get reports. So those reports don't lie. So your quality is established not just by visual supervision, but also by, after curing, taking the reports. So they help you in that, and then of course obtaining necessary certificates, and if you require them to do marketing for you, they would do the marketing as well. As you know, that government agencies like MADA or SIDCO market their flats well in advance, even before land is acquired in some cases. In other cases, land is acquired and some rough plan is made, and then they say, we will give you flats here, and those who are interested may apply. Now, Konkani board has just advertised for, I think, 26,000 houses or so. So they advertise in advance, get people, check their bona fides, and make a list of people depending on their capacity to pay. So all the data of these people is available with Mahapreet. So in case you need to find out how the flats can be sold, they can right away give you that here is a list of 500 people who are willing to spend 5 crores, 10 crores on buying a flat. And you can choose which of these you want, and if they find your building is good, you can give it to them. So that they can do. Of course, in Wadi it is different because we made it not require their services for that. And it doesn't come as one package. It could be whichever of these services you need from them, they would be willing to give you. However, having said this, my association with Mahapreet has been for some time, but this position is a recent one. But I don't think that it is really essential for you to take help of Mahapreet. I strongly believe that if you all decide to go for self-redevelopment, there are innumerable ways in which it can be done, Mahapreet or no Mahapreet. But if you choose to go the Mahapreet route, that is available. I'm the chairman of the organization. So that you won't have problem, but that, that generally should be the range of services, and I think that's about it. So go ahead.
I think you have given a sort of a wide-angle approach of Mahapreet towards all cooperative housing societies. Very nice to hear that. There are two things I'd like to know. By going through a government agency, can we eliminate under-the-table money, which is the biggest question among our people? And number two, pre-IOD finance, can it be arranged? I think these are the two, and of course, flow of money after that, so that the project doesn't stop somewhere in the middle. That's the biggest fear that is among this crowd.
First of all, let me tell you that all my projects which have been completed, nowhere have we given under the table money. Mahapreet was not involved in any one of these projects. It's a question of mindset. Either you are in the mindset where you believe that nothing can be done without giving money, or you are in a mindset where I am in my home, I shall not do any wrong and not give any money. The officer concerned is paid by me through my taxes, and he jolly well do his job to give me the necessary permissions. I believe in that. So far, I have had no issues. Of course, people say that because of you, they give this benefit, but otherwise they do. I say it doesn't matter to me what they do otherwise. What matters to me is in self-redevelopment, if a society decides that we are not going to pay any amount under the table, whether I am able to get the permissions. To that, the answer is, I have got the permissions so far. Now, as far as Mahapreet is concerned, there is no question of any under the table because
it's a government agency.
It's a government agency getting permission. They enter into agreement with you that they will get you all the permission. You enter into agreement that if you get us these permission, this is what we'll pay you. So there is no question of under the table at all. And they will follow the one window system, which has stipulated time limits in which that one window system should deliver permissions. So they will follow that one window system and give you. Assuming in a worst given situation, earlier the one window system, it was compulsory to give all permissions within 6 months. Now they have reduced it to 3 months. Assuming it will be 6 months, or assuming it will be 9 months, or even 1 year, even then it will be less than what it takes for builders to get permission, less time. So there is no question of any under the table, either with Mahapreet or without Mahapreet. If you go for self-redevelopment and you resolve that you will not give bribes, then no bribes will be given. However, we have to appoint a person for liaisoning, and we need to give his fees for liaisoning. And we keep on telling the liaison person that no advance fee will be paid to you. You will be paid on completion of milestones only. So today we ask you to get this particular permission and this much time. You can ask for some more time if you want, but we are not paying you for it. When you come with the permission and we check that we have got the necessary permission, we give you the check of whatever we have agreed to give on that permission. Now, you can go to Tanishq and buy a diamond necklace for your wife from that, or you can withdraw that money and do what you want with it for those who have given you permission. That's up to you. As far as we are concerned, we pay you the fees that have been decided. You get paid if you get us the milestone. If you don't get us the milestone, then we can terminate you. We can think of appointing someone else for the same work if you don't fulfill the milestone. We have appointed liaison people like that, and it has worked. Sometimes, in rare cases, the liaison person comes that, the fee that I agreed with you, I have tried, but I can't do it within that. So then the general body takes a view. He says, give me 5% more or 10% more. It will help me get your permissions more efficiently. So he does that.
Works like a liaison officer?
Yes.
And
getting approval.
Does Mahapreet also work as a liaison officer does?
Mahapreet takes charge of all permissions.
Correct.
Mahapreet may appoint a liaison officer.
It's their problem.
It's their problem. Whether they appoint a liaison officer or their in-house employees go and get permission, it's their problem. When they tell you that they will get you permissions, they are supposed to get you permission. You pay them only if you get permissions.
So, being a government body, probably they are more reliable, is that? can we conclude
In
or
this entire fear that has been created about thing is unfounded,
okay?
and I feel it's deliberately created. This is a common fear because builders survive on this fear. You see, doctors, pardon me, survive on putting the fear of life in you. "हे करनी झालं तू मरता तुगल काय ना म्हणे." I become his slave for the rest of the lifetime. So similarly, all professionals, lawyer will tell you, "हे करनी झालं तू केस जिंकना." ताण सांगील त्या we are willing to do. Similarly, in this, to tell you that this is difficult. So the builders instill this fear that तुम कहाँ से जाके ले आओगे? It's not the builders per se, it's those who benefit financially out of the builder who are hidden amongst us. They are the ones who do that. It's generally those people. Now, I don't want to get into that, but there is no fear. If you decide, see, fear is for whom? If your building is such that it may collapse, if you don't get permissions within 6 months, 8 months, then there is fear. Baba, deen izalari building palla mart na hai. So that is a genuine fear. Another fear is, if I don't get permission, I have taken loan from someone and the interest is increasing. If the permissions don't come on time, then I'm stuck. So I should give some under the table, but I'll get that is a genuine fear. So these are the kind of fears that are there, and there are people who, because none of your 240 people have experience of building a building or doing that. So that which you don't know, you always think is fearful, So I don't think it's as bad as it is made out to be. My experience has been sometimes a bit different. I have seen when I was a funder to builders, while examining builders' balance sheets, money shown as speed money. So I questioned them before giving money. I mean, ठीक है यार, किसको कितना मिलता है? So they would give me a list of people. Some of them were people who have worked under me, known to me, because I've been in government all my life. And so I would call them for a lunch and say, "Yaar, this is what I've been told. Did you really demand this much, and did you get this much, or are you..." And it was shocking in many cases that they have demanded, not that the system is not corrupt. But what the developer shows me as the money, it could be 1/10 or 1/20. So the developer's way of extracting money from a lender by showing him कि इसको तो 2 करोड़ के नीचे नहीं होता है, उसको 5 करोड़ के नीचे नहीं होता है. Most of it goes to the developer because no one goes and checks who has given, who has taken. So this is a system wherein those who benefit threaten other people and instill that fear in the minds of people. I'm here to demystify everything. Uday demystifies medicine. I want to demystify the process of construction. I want to bring to people the real facts so that they know that it is not as bad as it is made out to be. It is bad because the middle people benefit out of this under the table. Now let me not go into who the middle people can be. It contains everyone.
So Shekhar, the other question is of finance. I know in the last 5 years, lots of things have been added. A lot of people, a lot of NBFCs and so many funds have been raised. Mahapreet itself, applies to various finance organizations to get money from day one. Is that correct? to think that way?
Yes, that
Or
that's,
is it a big problem up to the point of IOD?
no,
That is what we
See,
want to know.
see, forget Mahapreet for the time being. Let's forget Mahapreet for the time being. Funding is required in two tranches. One is prior to IOD, second is post IOD, pre IOD, post IOD.
Yeah, I just need to add one more point to it, that when the general body decides that they don't want to mortgage anything or they don't want to sort of burden their members with payments, where the member doesn't have to pay anything in the pre-IOD stage, is it still possible?
No member pays anything. None of the buildings are done by members paying anything unless he wants something special. So there is no question of any member paying any amount.
Okay, that's good.
Anyway, Mahapreet or no Mahapreet, there is no member paying any amount. So that is out of question. That in self-redevelopment, no member makes any upfront payment, period. Irrespective of how the money comes, members don't. Again, this is part of the fear psychosis. Tu paise diuka data, taka electrica bill and society charges दिवची problem. Tu 5 lakh diuka data म्हणाली तो थई हे जाता.
Exactly. So because our society has, all elderly
I know people
who can't afford to pay much. And
I have done self-redevelopment in slums where people actually go to Lijjat Papad centers, buy the papad peat and do the papads, dry it in their home. In the evening, give the papad which are weighed and get their food. Then the family gets money to eat. So even they have not paid anything. Under self-development, the first rule under self-redevelopment is that unless you want to invest in the project, nobody has to pay any money upfront. That's clear. Then let's understand what is pre-IOD and post-IOD. Post-IOD, all the banks give you money. So banks, financial institutions, now that's an established thing. There is no problem there on getting. Issues with pre-IOD. Now pre-IOD, where do you get the money from? So I'll give you all the options before you. Number one, the investor option, which is the HNI, Ultra HNI. They are there, we have a list from them, they will come, they will put the money, and for putting the money, they will put certain conditions. Now from amongst them, whose conditions are the least bothering to you, you can accept that. That's one. Two, non-banking venture capital funds. They have nothing to do with bank, they are venture capital funds. They are meant to fund real estate. They are meant to fund you pre-IOD also. So they have that risk built in. Depending on the risk assessment of your society, they give you money, they put their conditions. Third, non-banking financial organizations, banking financial organization, venture capital fund, ICICI Venture Fund, State Bank of India Venture Fund. They fund the whole project and they bring in investors for the pre-IOD portion. So it's the venture capital fund's responsibility to bring in the investor, but that money which comes pre-investor will have different terms, and the post-investor, post-IOD will have different terms. So that is debt come equity. Then comes, other than that, NBFCs, non-banking finance companies. They come in pre-IOD and they come in as equity partners with you. They say, we will bring in this much money, you bring in your project, we bring in the money, and tell us how much, what percentage of your profit you are willing to share with us. So they come as equity partners. These are NBFCs. Then let's go a bit further. Foreign institutional investors, the pension funds and others whom I'm very actively talking to. Two of the pension funds have shown keenness to fund self-redevelopments, the Canadian Pension Fund and the British Pension Fund. So if the pension fund comes in, they will naturally want to ensure that the money which comes from old age pensions of people is not gobbled up, or it's not, so they will put their terms and conditions, but they will come even pre-IOD and they will come post-IOD. Pre-IOD will be risk oriented, whatever is the high risk, and post-IOD is not. There also they may ask for equity. Then we come to FDI. Your project is FDI compliant. Any individual or group of individual living abroad, there are a lot of people who have joined in from the US, can approach their banking depending on their appetite and their capacity to pay, and say that this is our project in India, which is compliant to FDI, and the bank should fund it. There is also, for American citizens, an insurance which they have to buy there if they invest in a foreign country, not India, any foreign country, and for any reason, if that fund doesn't deliver what it's expected to fund, then the insurance company pays back the financial organization which has lent you. So from FDI sources, you get the money, and after your project is done, the money gets converted back into dollars and it goes to the FDI, the person who invests. Now, there is a problem of the fluctuation of the rupee-dollar rate. That is managed by an Indian bank or an organization which offers to hedge that or absorb it, like the State Bank of India. So you have to give them a LIBOR rate. LIBOR is the word. So you have to give them a LIBOR rate. So if you have got the FDI at say 3% interest, you give 4% LIBOR rate to the State Bank of India, which then says that I will hedge your money, and if the rupee dollar changes more, it's my responsibility to submit as many dollars, because they have enough dollars in their treasury which have been purchased long time ago. So for them, that dollar has come in cheap. So they take that kind of a risk, wherein for that they get that 3, 4, 5%, whatever is negotiable with nationalized banks, who add the LIBOR rate, and then it works out at whatever price to you. So that is one option. Then, of course, there is an option of all the members starting a startup. a startup company with every member having equal amount of shares or shares as per their holding in square feet in the building, and that startup is a company, and the general body of the society appoints that startup to do the whole project and appoints a regular CEO, managing director, directors, whatever, from amongst you. There is no outsider in the startup. It is your own person. If you need to appoint a professional person to head it as a CEO, you are welcome to do that. And then that startup, you know that government does innumerable good schemes for the startup, including discounted loans. So it takes that loan and that startup implements the whole thing. And as shareholders, you get dividends, which then your society decides how to be utilized and how to give to people. So that is another option. There are many more, but I'll just tell you one more because this involves, I mean, this is like my building economics lecture, which I'm giving all the options. So I don't want to bore you with many more options, but the last option is an IPO. So, which is very similar to what Rao Bahadur Talmaki tried to do in the 1920s. We didn't call it an IPO or something. We register ourselves as a company on one of the exchanges and invite people. We say this is a startup, this is a LLP, and this is a model. And how do we scale up in model? There will be many more other societies of the same community, of general Saraswats, of other communities which we can do, and we will scale this up into an organization which will fund self-redevelopment. And finally, like in 1910, little did they realize that a small bank started by them will be this big. Similarly, this could be an idea which this IPO can bring in money. And then what was started here, I mean, Syndicate Bank was started similarly in Manipal. Canara Bank was started similarly in Udupi and other places. Corporation Bank was started similarly. Most banks started like that. So with an IPO, every IPO needs, needs some project. So with this as a startup project, you scale up into an IPO and you get the market to invest in your thing, and you take that investment to the next level and create an institution which will fund. We have, who's the potential? 45,000 cooperative housing societies in Mumbai alone, out of which 25,000 cooperative housing society need redevelopment funding. 16,800 tenanted buildings in Island City alone. 3,900 slums in which 72 lakh people live. 200 Mahada colonies with 200 buildings each, 200 cooperative housing societies each. 4,500 collectors' lands on which people have built cooperative housing societies. All this can be your potential clients, and you will be funding them, of course, on like a banking system, and from that revenue will come. And so that IPO fetches you without any interest your initial money, and that can be done. So it depends on how you want to take this ahead. So these are all options that you have before you. And Mahapreet, of course, is a government organization. But It can take any of these options. It can also give you a FII solution. It can give you an FDI solution. So all these options, because it's a company, so it will examine all the possible options and give you. National Housing Bank will be funding it. It can give you that. So National Housing Bank may have their own terms and conditions. So this is how fund can come. Now, this is how it comes, but should I tell about how we have funded our projects without the help of banks so far?
Yeah, I think we'd like to hear that. Would you like to hear that?
See, my projects so far have been without the help of any banks at all. Now, how do I do that? Nobody who doesn't want to contribute anything is forced to contribute. So whatever is your existing area and whatever you are entitled to comes to you free. You don't have to pay 1 rupee for it to anyone, to your society, to anyone. Now you want to be more adventurous and you want to buy more area. So when you buy more area, the schemes that we have gone so far is any additional area that any member wants to buy. The general body decides how much discount the member should be given. Ideally, someone may like to buy 500 feet, someone may like to buy 800 feet. So we give a discount of 30% on the market price. Some societies decide 35%, some decide 25%, some have other formulas, but that is scheme number 1, wherein what you have today is what you are entitled. Over and above that, what you want, you buy. At what price, the general body decides. That is how only those who want to buy that contribute, the rest have no business to contribute a single money. That's scheme number 1. Scheme number 2, you want to be more entrepreneurial, not just enough to buy 100 or 200 square feet to increase your flat, but you want to buy a flat in the sellable area. So you want to buy a flat in the sellable area, you are entitled a 20% discount. Who is entitled to buy that? The member, his wife, his son, his daughter, even if she is married, his grandson, his granddaughter, his father, his mother, his grandfather, his grandmother. So class 1 heirs by the Indian Revenue Code. Anyone in that wants to buy a flat in the sellable area is entitled a 20% discount, which means if you sell at 60,000 rupees a square feet, then you get 12,000 rupees discount, you get at 48,000. If you sell at 50,000 rupees per square feet to outsiders, you get 10,000 discount, you get it at 40,000 rupees per square feet. Now, you are not supposed to pay this full amount for the flat. The society arranges home loans for all the buyers. Now, someone may say, I'm 60 plus, will you give us home loan? Yes, we have got RBI permissions to give loans even if your age exceeds the normal this thing. I'm not earning. Will I get a loan? Yes. The RBI has given special permission for that. But then how will this loan be serviced? So any member of your family who is earning applies jointly with this, and that has been declared in a nomenclature as family loan. So that family home loan is given to you where 1, 2, 5 member, all your heirs can collectively apply to that family loan and you get that family loan. So for instance, if 50,000 rupees per square feet, you want to buy a 600 square feet flat, it's 3 crores. And straight away 10,000 rupees per square feet into 500. So 10,000 into 500 is what? 50 lakhs?
Yeah. Correct.
So 50 lakhs out of that is discounted. So you are straight away by booking getting a benefit of 50 lakhs of rupees. And all you got to arrange is your 20% of that money. The rest comes in easy installment in 10 years, 15 years, whatever installment where you have to pay, you or your heirs have to pay EMI. Now, even if you rent the place out at today's market rate in a new building, whatever is the market rate in Tardev, you get enough money to service that loan. So the flat after 6 or 7 years would be totally free for you, and for lifetime that rent that you will get from that flat will be free. Plus the price of the flats will increase. So that is what we give as scheme number 2. Scheme number 1 is extra area at a discount rate which the general body decides. Scheme number 2, 20% discount. Even this 20 is, there's no law whether it should be 22, 25, 30. It's up to the general body to decide, but you have to ensure that the one who doesn't buy doesn't feel that those who have money are taking all the discount and my corpus is being taken away. That's a genuine feeling. Because I don't have money and I have not booked amount, so those of you who have booked amounts, have booked space, are taking all the discount. If we wouldn't have given you that discount, then that money would have increased in the corpus and I would have got it. So that's a feeling which someone who has not booked is likely to feel. Otherwise, those of you who have the wherewithal can buy 5,000 square feet each. So keeping that in mind, we thought that 20% and 30% were. Why 30%? If you take loan from a bank, you give the bank 12.5% per annum. In 2 years, 24%. In 3 years, 36%. So if I am paying bank 36%, why can't I give 30% to my member? That was the broad argument or rationale behind putting it at 30%. Of course, each society has its own things, and you can go ahead with whatever you want. So that is the scheme number 2. 20% is also that way. So it is enough incentive, but not too much, so that the rest of the, because in this you are permitting also the daughter. So a daughter who's married, who's not staying, may not stay, may buy it because she has enough money. So someone may say, no, he's not staying, his son is not staying, he's staying abroad. He's just buying it, so he'll get money. So all these things happen. These are human problems which mak melnidala na tak melchana zamu. So these are. Then scheme number 3. Scheme number 3 is for the members, brothers, sisters, their children and grandchildren, members, spouses, father, mother, brother, sister, because members, father, mother is covered in the earlier scheme. So in scheme number 3, members, brothers, sister, their children, grandchildren, members, spouses, father, mother, brother, children, their children and grandchildren. 15% discount. Scheme number 4, first cousins. Members' fathers, brothers, children, members' fathers, sisters, children, mother's brothers, children, mother's sisters, children, same with member's spouse. Her father's brothers, children, father's sisters, children, mother's brothers, children, mother's sister, children. They get 10% discount. So, these are all the schemes. If any one of your relatives wants to put in money in the scheme, then certain upfront amount they have to pay with a guarantee that their money will be returned back just in case, with interest, just in case anything goes wrong, and that will have to be given. The money will be kept in fixed deposit and overdraft will be taken against that for the initial expense. That is scheme number 4. Scheme number 5. Otherwise, all the members have to go through a process of lottery. However, if you want to avoid the lottery, my birthday is on 29th, I want the 29th floor. Or I want my flat to face south. I want my kitchen to face the east. I want a Vastu compliant flat. Or different people have different requirements. So if they want to evade the lottery and get a choice of a specific floor or specific flat, they have to pay certain deposit upfront to the society. In some cases it's 10 lakhs, some cases it's 15 lakhs, some cases it is 20 lakhs for each one of these. So if you go higher, about 25 floors, somebody wants it higher than 25 floors, then he has to pay 20 lakhs each, or whatever, the general body decides on that. So someone wants a particular direction, then he has to pay X amount. So under all these schemes, and then last one of course, which people who have been staying in that building and have sold over a period of years, they have sold and gone, but they want to come back to that building by buying a flat there, by selling their existing flat, or by mortgaging it, by taking rent and all that. So they should be given some discount. That if you have stayed in this wadi for 25 years and then for whatever reason you have sold and gone and you want to come back, then, and if you want to come back, then sure, the general body can consider some discount for the old people to come back. So from all these schemes, there will be some money flowing in, some percentage of this, the total amount that you have to put up front. The society doesn't use that money, puts it in a fixed deposit with a condition that it will take overdraft on that. So if a FD fetches you 7%, the OD on that can be 1% more. You can negotiate for 0.5%. So you get a loan at 7.5% or so. So instead of going to the bank and getting at 12.5%, this is a better option. So these are all the options under which we have got money, and I have found that these options are much better than going to formal financial institutions, and they work. However, I have given all the options.
Can we go for a combination of many?
Sure, sure.
Because I don't know whether we can raise so much from just one option.
No,
option of this, but when...
No, question is, Whether we can raise or not is
Yeah,
not the.
correct.
Let us do a survey and check.
Okay.
Once we check, once we know where we stand, then we can decide on what financial strategy we have to give. Why should we decide that at this stage?
Correct.
We decide we are going for self-redevelopment, we release next 15 days for scheme number 1. Every member gets a letter saying that whatever is your existing area, you are entitled to this much. 585, 600, 650, whatever. That is free for you. You are not paying a single penny for that. Anything over and above that, would you like to buy? This is not a force. If you buy, it will be at a discount. How much discount is what the general body will decide, where you will be there. So all of us will sit and decide what that discount will be. All of us means all of you, not me. And so if at that discount, would you like to buy? If yes, how much? 100, 200, 300, dash. And for that, would you require home loan? Yes or no? If you don't reply within 15 days, we treat it that you are not interested in this and your file on this accord will be closed. So scheme number 1 is done. The assessment of demand is done. It's important because that will decide how much risk the project has. Because risk evaluation has to be done by me from Mahapreet. I have to evaluate the risks. Risks are various, not just financial. Zagad kartal kitla sati, that also forms a risk when a funding organization puts in money. So all those risks we are supposed to evaluate before giving funds. So this scheme number 1, then 15 days scheme number 2, then 15 days scheme number 3. You can go on like this. And at the end of it, we get a Excel sheet as to where we stand. See, remember, one person in this cousin scheme can generally, even if you take 2 brothers and brother or sister, 2 per member, even then we reach 24 to 30 people. So 240 into 24 to 30, we are reaching 5,000 people, out of which what we require is we require only 200 flats to be sold. So if that comes in, then you really don't have to go anywhere. If that doesn't happen, then we have all the other options to go to. But before going to anybody else, first give opportunity to our own relatives and close people. After we are reasonably convinced that none of them are interested, then we have the rest of the options which I have explained earlier. We can go into that. Now, all these are available to you, and these we have implemented without, when Mahapreet was not into the picture. Now Mahapreet is into the picture, I'm sitting there, so whatever I need to do there will be done. That's no problem.
Does anyone have any questions on the finance? Please ask. Mike. On good. Togus.
One very specific question. The options that you said now are viable options to raise from the relatives and others. But as far as I understand, the process of raising additional funds from anywhere or for the surplus sellable areas is possible only post the IOD. It is not pre-IOD. So how do we bridge that gap?
No, that's not true. Pre-IOD, we are only trying to assess the demand. We are not promising anybody anything. We are not selling our flats. We are not telling you that we are going to sell our flats. We are saying, in case after getting the IOD, we sell the flats, are you willing to buy? That's it. And so there is no promise. You are not promising any member that you are saying, except your own member. That is pre-IOD, you can sell it to your member, their children. Scheme 1 and 2, you are fine. There is no problem in Scheme 1 and 2. Scheme 1 and 2 itself will give you an idea where you stand. The rest, you are only assessing the demand. When you assess the demand, any cooperative housing society is entitled to start a fixed deposit scheme, like the bank. Now, that fixed deposit scheme has no strings attached. It's not for giving flats. It's not for anything. We say that Talmakiwadi Cooperative Housing Society has decided that it is launching a fixed deposit scheme. So any member or any relative of any member can contribute to that scheme. What do you give from that scheme? Whatever the bank gives you as interest, you are giving to the person putting the money in the scheme, right? So you are not taking any money out of it. If he is putting in Shamrao Vittal Cooperative Bank, he puts it with you. You are putting in Shamrao Vittal Cooperative Bank, and whatever Shamrao Vittal is giving it to you, you are transferring it to him. So far, there is no issue. He has given you the money is with you. It's lying with you. After you get the IOD, the general body can pass a resolution that those of our members or whoever have trusted us before our IOD and given deposits without expecting anything, we have not promised them anything. If they want to convert these deposits into booking, they will be eligible. Right? So, like this we have done, and we have found way out of it, and it has been done fairly efficiently in practically all the societies without flouting a single rule. Starting a fixed deposit scheme is within your rules. Accepting deposits in that is within your rules. Giving people interest is within your rules for the fixed deposit. You are not indulging into banking and all that. Your general body, after getting the IOD, when the space comes for sale, your general body has a right to decide who will buy that space. The general body says, instead of searching the whole world, there are people who have trusted us when we had nothing. So why don't you give them an option? If they say no, then we will search for outsiders. So that can be done.
Hello. Hi, am I audible? Hi. As you mentioned about the finance just now, is it possible that we can, look for some prospective buyers and ask them to put 25 lakhs upfront as kind of interest that will, it will show us the confidence and the interest in this model?
We have already got 84 people who have told us that we are willing to buy. So that exercise has been undertaken already.
So they are ready to shell out the money is what we are
She's
expecting.
asking whether the non-members can put fixed deposit, correct?
Anyone.
Yeah, fixed deposit anyone
Not
can.
fixed deposit. I'm saying for the prospective buyers.
No, we don't want to commit any buying to anybody.
So
Before IOD.
our members who are ready to buy or anything like that?
Our members wanting extra area, extra flat, we can commit
So
and we
can we
can
look
take
at the
money from
number, who is ready to shell out that much of money upfront?
if there are any and they offer that we are willing to give some money, the general body can consider their proposal.
Yeah, okay, let's see, fine.
Any proposal coming from anybody for funding has to go before the general body. If general body accepts it, it's agreed. If it doesn't accept it, it doesn't get through.
And one more thing, as you mentioned about, couple of projects that have been taken under you, could you share a case study where, it is comparable to the size of Talmakiwadi, both in commercial wise as well as...
I have shared case study. Your managing committee has gone to those societies, met them, seen that.
Like a detailed project report? Can we have that?
I don't think so. See, if that is relevant at that stage, we will ask them to whether
Sir,
they
it will
can.
help us building confidence, right? Because we need to know. It's kind of transparency. We need to understand how the model works.
No, that's okay. By understanding it doesn't mean you can take anybody's balance sheets, no?
I don't want balance sheets. I just want to know how it works.
Yeah, so if you want how it works, we will get some office bearers of theirs to
Yeah.
come and talk to you. That is provided you want to go for self-redevelopment, we will do that.
Yeah, because we can understand how it works.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the only
yes,
thing.
definitely.
Yeah?
All the societies who have successfully implemented self-redevelopment, we will call them and felicitate them. And you can ask them whatever questions, how they went about, and they will give you their experiences. But that is provided we want to go for self-redevelopment finally. I don't want to get, in fact, today, former Municipal Commissioner Subodh Kumar, who's working with me on self-redevelopment projects, was to come, but I was not very keen to have him here because I did not know, what kind of discussions will go on, and he's a guest, I'm a homegrown boy, so I can take all kinds of this thing. But if he listens to some things which happen in the course of discussion, because tomorrow we may have to invite him to advise us or be a part of the thing, or Mahapreet may appoint him, or if we are looking for CEO, we need an honest IAS officer to handle the whole project. So he's one of those whom we have considered. In fact, some people came and some people
Mike Salos.
Some people came and discussed with me a few days ago, and there was some officer of Mahapreet who was not there throughout the discussion, but part of it, and he was quite shocked at the kind of discussion that happened. So he was to come here today, so I told him, no, it's okay, let me handle it. So I don't want, I understand our people, and I can take all kinds of nonsense, but not someone who, the officers who are going to deal with our files. I want to present the better part of us to them. And I'm willing to take the other side of the thing, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Prabhumam, just a couple of things. Of course, the other day we had come to see you. So I think we asked questions that were doubts in our
Let's
mind.
not discuss that.
No, I want to clarify this because since you have said it, it's important for me to say that. Some of us came to you, managing committee and subcommittee members. We definitely asked you a few questions which we thought were legitimate. They were connected with the project. We asked certain specific questions.
No, some of them were not connected with the project.
What did we ask you that was
And
not
not relevant also.
I don't think we should discuss that.
No, it's
Today
important.
we are here. Is there
Important to clarify
Because if someone comes to Mahapreet office and tells Mahapreet what it is supposed to do, you have come to ask for services that Mahapreet on its website has such and such a thing. I know what is there on my website. Please don't tell me what my website contains. You have come here to ask for help, or you have come here to tell me how I should run my organization.
No, that's not the intent. Okay, I have a few questions.
So that had nothing to do with self-redevelopment.
I have a few questions. Obviously, Prabhu Ma'am, first of all, thank you for coming here and sparing your time and talking to us. A lot of insightful information that you've given us. A lot of positives in self-redevelopment, which a lot of us understand also, which you called out. Do you see any downsides to this? Because that is a question that a lot of people have. And how do we manage those?
There is only one downside which Uday keeps on reminding me not to mention. But the only downside is that there are builders all around us who don't want us to get this, because in this area a prestigious project like us happens and people will be able to distinguish this is what the builders have given the members and this is what self-redevelopment. Their entire argument will be demolished, so they don't want this to succeed, and they are trying their level best. I don't want to delve on it. I can give from personal information everything, but he's a close friend. He's senior to me in age, but we know each other since our childhood. So he said that I should not mention that information which I have, but maybe some other
I think
day.
we should just discuss.
In any case, in my
Talmakiwadi development. That's it.
in my book, I'm sure there is a chapter on Talmakiwadi where I would write all these things. But that may come by after your building is done.
Great. Excellent.
Okay, these schemes that you called out are very interesting in terms of how we raise money through our members, their friends and their relatives. Since you've done it in other societies, typically what is the kind of timeline that is involved in this in your experience with other societies, so that
Not more than 3 months for the assessment of the demand. And once the demand is there, after that the feasibility becomes important, because then your revenue becomes actual, because then you are calculating as per the discounted price. Then you are not in those artificial numbers. Otherwise, we are going by all fictitious artificial numbers, all these Excel sheet exercises are meaningless. Once you know that out of 240, 100 people are buying 100 square feet each, another 50 of them are buying 200 square feet each, and this is the discount we are giving, so this much will go from our revenue, then the feasibility becomes more interesting. And then the risk factor also reduces considerably. If I have, 20% of my space which is booked by my own people, then I'm home. I don't require to pay any bank, any financial institution. I'm just home. If I reach 30, 31, which is ideally what my figure is, then I'm safe. And from what I understand, I mean, the other day, Dr. Uday got felicitated by all the Saraswats, different Saraswats of the thing.
10 organizations. There were 10 organizations.
10 organizations. There are, in fact, 26 organizations of all Saraswats, of different types of Saraswats. And if just the doctors part of them, I'm not talking of other people, just the doctors part of them are exposed to buying of our thing, we will be oversubscribed by double. And if he talks to his friends who are doctors and he says, we are doing it and we are not diluting our thing, we are opening it only to Saraswats, possibly Amchis, if not other Saraswats as well, then we'll be oversubscribed. We don't have to go beyond the Saraswat name. So the, our brand continues as that.
So we are saying that the scoping activity can take about 3 months. So in 3 months, we'll have a fair idea whether we are adequately covered for IOD or whether we need to supplement it with some borrowing, right?
Yeah, if in 3 months we feel that, we need to make a separate strategy for finance, we will do that.
Okay. Thank you.
What is the estimated IOD cost? That is the other.
No, IOD is
Intimation of
disapproval. IOD is intimation of disapproval. It's a disapproval. Yeah. It's a legacy that we borrowed from the British. You see, in the British Raj, we were the natives. So when a native went with any application, the only stamp that came on us was disapproval. So the head office, earlier East India Company's head office was Surat. So we had to take instruction. Later it was Calcutta. So from the head office, whenever there is any permission, the head office used to say disapproval. You disapprove it. So one governor, Hornby or someone said, yeah, we've been writing to anything that they write, we disapprove. Now, there is something we should permit them. They are increasing their houses. So then he said that this is intimation of disapproval subject to your fulfilling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Means it is approval. Means if you fulfill this, you fulfill this, you fulfill this.
Typical.
So it is a disapproval. But if you do this, then it becomes a approval. So at the end of the IOD, if you fulfill those points, then they give you a CC, which is commencement certificate, which means you have fulfilled all the points. So, but when I was the president of MADA, the first thing I did is do away with intimation of disapproval. I said, have it intimation of approval. When I went to SRA, the first day that I took over charge of SRA, in SRA I removed the intimation of disapproval. It is now intimation of approval. But in the BMC, it is still the old intimation of disapproval. So to make it approval, we need to change some parts of the BMC Act perhaps or whatever. So they have still continued to that. So everyone says that this intimation of disapproval is subject to so much for executive engineer, so much for deputy engineer, so much for chief engineer, so much for the commissioner. So when you pay, then those conditions are fulfilled. So it's a corrupt organization. So that's how it is. So it's an interesting story of intimation of disapproval. Yes.
Hi, Anand.
Prabhu ma'am, hello sir.
Yeah.
What I want to say is, see, I had the good fortune of interacting with you when I was part of the earlier subcommittee. and there were many things that I learnt from you. Now, one thing that I feel is missing is whatever you have spoken is obviously relevant from the self-development model. But is there any kind of a published project report which can be accessed? Because I think members need that, and this is something that I have been talking about from the day I have been part of the
We
subcommittee.
can, we can flood you with enough project reports, but
For the
we have-
simple the intention is that, people need something in writing. Business, this is a commercial project. We have to understand, and apart from the fact that we are trying to maintain the AMCHI culture, but we need a project report either from your entity, organization, or from the subcommittee, which can help us to understand the model better. That's the intention.
You take a decision which path you need to take. We'll give you enough project reports. I can also give you project report, provided you decide which path. You don't fall between two stools, which is what I feel sometimes it happens. So, there's this story of of Buddha when the cat, Madzar which is story. So there's a story of this king coming in a chariot, and then the cat coming in and getting killed under the chariot. So someone asked, why did this happen? He said, the cat started off, saw the chariot coming. If it would have ran, it would have gone across. It stopped and started thinking, should I go that side or should I? That's why it got killed. So it's when you are putting your feet on two stools, you fall between two stools, which is what should not happen. Should take a decision, and we'll be happy to give you whatever you want, but you should take a decision once and for all.
The intention of asking is basically the process. What is the entire process?
Everything is there, and that will be made available to you, but decide where you want to go. See, if you go to VT station, you will land up in Mulund, no? You can't come to Grant Road. If you have to go to Grant Road, then you have to go to Churchgate. So you have to decide where you want to go. You will get everything.
Vinay.
I have one question before I give the mic to him. We've heard that a certain amount is required before IODCC, and a certain amount is obviously a much bigger amount is required after IODCC. But I'm sure there are this amount, for example, say 30 crores is required before IODCC. I'm sure that 30 crores is not spent in one day. It's spent in various tranches.
I've understood what you want to say. I'm happy you said that. I got distracted with the story of IOD, and see, IOD is not an absolute term. IOD is for what? So there are 10 types of IODs, which every builder knows. So first IOD is you submit the whole plan, but ask for permission for foundation and plinth. That is also an IOD, which in your case, you don't even need 5 crores to get that. You don't even need 5 crores. It may be 2.5 crores. Second is an IOD which takes you to your parking and ground plus 2, wherein you are presently occupying X square feet. That is, you are occupying 1 lakh something, 85,750 plus 35% of 85,750, that is 1,25,000. To get an IOD for construction up to 1,25,000, you don't need any expense. Where do you need the money is when you ask for building over and about 1,25,000, Then you have to buy from the BMC, FSI, for that you require money. You have to buy TDR, for that you require money. So as you buy, no builder takes full IOD of 30 crores or 40 crores. As you buy that space, you apply for IOD for that. You buy that space, you apply for IOD for that. That is how the whole market works. But to say, for the final IOD at that stage, you may have to buy so much of area by paying premium. You may have to buy so much area by paying for TDR. One excellent news which has not come even in newspapers will come tomorrow morning. I need to disclose it for the first time to you because I came to know yesterday night because that decision has been taken. For self-redevelopment, for any redevelopment in Mumbai, there is a free component which is existing plus 35%, but plus some 20% that we are entitled free. That is free. We don't have to pay anybody anything. Over and above that, we have to buy FSI at a premium and we have to buy TDR. That TDR we have to buy from a market rate. And that market rate is like a stock exchange. Depending on the demand, that TDR can increase. Now, yesterday's decision is that only for self-redevelopment, we don't have to go to the market for buying TDR. TDR will not have to be bought. The premium that we are buying for BMC, for which the rate is fixed, we are getting, as of now, 20% discount than what rate the builders get for premium. At the same rate, we will get TDR. Now this, in our this thing, is going to save a minimum of 10 crores of rupees for us. Just this one decision which has been taken. Minimum, I think it would be even more. If we are buying 1 lakh square feet of TDR, then it would be 20-25 crores. So that immediately has been a saving. So 25 crore divided by 200 odd people, which means by just that decision and by going to self-redevelopment, we have earned 12 to 15 lakhs each yesterday evening. So these are the kind of benefits. You must see where the wind is blowing. It's blowing towards, when I was fighting for self-redevelopment, I had no takers. At one stage, not the present chief minister, at one stage one chief minister said, "अरे सगळं ठीक आहे, तुम्ही प्राध्यापक आहात, तुम्ही सेल्फ रिडेव्हलपमेंटवर व्हाईट पेपर लिहिता, ते वाचता, त्याला तुम्हाला गोल्ड मेडल मिळतं, हे सगळं ठीक आहे. एका बिल्डिंगीत करून दाखवा, मग काय ते मानेन." So now I have 25 buildings which are done. I went to that ex-chief minister. I said, I have completed 25. So this is how. Imagine now I have at least case studies and still there are people want that report and this report. When I had not a single building was done under self-redevelopment, how difficult it must have been for me to convince people. I was telling them that this will happen. So no one would ever believe. So sometimes I had to be a bit vulgar and give some, being a Konkani, if we are not bordering onto a bit of vulgar, then there is something wrong with us. So I said that when you go to see a girl for your son, you like the girl and you want him to get married. Do you ask her? They were asking me, how many self-redevelopment have you done? What experience? I would tell them that I did the master plan of the BKC. They said, no, how much self? That time I didn't have one. So I said, when you go and see a girl and you you like her and you have to announce that you pasand hai, you say ki आम्हाला मुलं पाहिजे तर काही अनुभव आहे का मुलं करण्याचा? Do you ask that to her? So some people didn't like me saying that, but at that time I had nothing. I mean, I had my conviction that this can be done. And I can imagine what must have happened to Rao Bahadur Talmaki when he did it. He must have faced similar problems in those days. People must have spat at him, "Apaish gyun dhaun not ki," whatever. But he had the Rao Bahadur title, he had everything. So I had to go through, because this self-redevelopment is my baby. So the model has been written by me. So everyone used to say, where have you done? Show me this, show me that, show me that. I had nothing to show. Now I have enough. I can show as many. But at that time, those who stood by me were the real ones, because they believed that I would deliver that. Now everyone will come. So now the government has come and they want to show. Some of them say ki it is their scheme only. It's okay with me. Let them take the credit. It's okay. I would say ki like Abhimanyu was in the stomach. When I was young, I heard you talking to my mother about self-redevelopment, so it is yours. So I have no problem that. So now there are those who ridiculed me when I went to them for self-redevelopment are now wanting to take credit for all the self-development. आम्ही आधीपासून सांगत होतो की हेच करायला पाहिजे. Okay, तुमचंच आहे. So that's okay. So whatever you need, we will give you, because this is going to be a landmark, and we are going to show the world that surrounded by all sides from a different model, this is the model, and let the world see for themselves what is the housing that they have given to the original residents and what is it that we give to the original residents. So we are not servant squatters like what we are seeing in the neighborhood, what they are giving to original residents.
Chandrashekhar Prabhu, thank you very much for your help, for all your